welcome to Dynamite Delight. I am sorry, but as you can hear from my throat, I am sick. Don't worry, I'm fine. The only thing I got is sneezing, coffee, and running nose. The other thing doesn't do that. I'm fine, guys. I have no fevers, I have no problems breathing. Sore throat, yes. Sneezing, yes. Coughing, yes. Stuffiness here, oh yes. That's what I got. Some here, all here. But it's not going to stop me from doing my Dynamite review. But it has stopped me from doing my NWA review. Excuse me. I'm not going to make this a long video. No images, so I'm sorry. I'm going to try and do NWA tomorrow before I actually do my Impact review. I'm going to try and do it. If not, I'll do it Friday. So I hope you don't mind Power being a bit late. But what did we get in this Dynamite? We got Winter is Coming. Now, for some reason, I kept blanking the last couple of weeks on what the name of this show was, the special. But let's be honest here. Was there things that was going to happen here that we thought? Yes, that's what we thought. Were there things that happened here? No. Nobody knew was 100% shown. Yes, with Malachi Black, and I'll get to that in a moment if I don't forget. That is the only thing that we saw differently. Other than that, no new faces were shown, and as far as I saw, Tony Khan was supposed to make an announcement before the end of the show. As far as I know, he didn't make an announcement. I could be wrong. My sound went out when I was checking something. I didn't have the sound on. I had it out. Because if I'm checking something else, like I'm doing some research on something, I turn off the sound for Dynamite when the commercial comes on. And if it did show, I didn't hear it. So I don't know what the announcement was that he was supposed to do unless he didn't do it. So the only thing that we got in this Winter is Coming special that was the most important was the opening of the show. But I'll do that last. Let's do several things here. We got Matt Sydal versus Wardlow. That was a destruction. Yes, he stunned Wardlow, and that is Matt Sydal, but Matt Sydal didn't stand a chance. But here's where it gets a little interesting. Because Wardlow was being told by Spears, hey, pin him, it's over, you're done. He wiped the floor with him already, but Wardlow still wanted to destroy him. And Spears is one that says, hey, you gotta stop. And eventually he did do the pin, and he said, this is why you're the best, this is why you're doing it, this is why you're getting things done with the Pinnacle. And then he chair shots a Matt Sydal, enjoying it. But then it's like, after that, you get a phone call from the MJF himself saying simply, hey, he wants some champagne, you got to go and get it, but you can do it while you got your ring attire on. And Wardlow didn't seem to like that. So they're teasing again, Wardlow may not want to be around MJF due to the fact of the Battle Royal for the chance to go for the Dynamite ring. And he is now being told what to do in a way he probably doesn't like. They're teasing it again. I don't know if it's going to happen. At this point, I don't know if he even needs to do it. It counts on if they're going to make him more than just muscle. Guys, if they don't make him more than muscle, he might as well stay where he is. If they're actually going to let him have a real run and let him show his true personality and let him talk and do what he needs to do, fine. But if they're just going to make him kind of like what happened with Brian Cage, when he should have been pushed with a manager, and he hasn't, I think Santos needs to come back. Melissa needs to be by his side. Hopefully in the beginning of the year she will, but Wardlow, ooh, that hurt right here. Wardlow might as well stay where he is if they're not going to do anything with him. Let's move on. We got several segments in the back. Super Click talking about best friends, and they're going to nail them. And the Adam Cole doing his best to put himself over. Of course. No problem. Then you got Varsity Blondes, where it gets interesting that you see Garrison 100% pissed that Julia was sprayed in the face by Malachi Black. And I'll get to Malachi in a minute. But clearly, he was pissed. He wasn't even willing to listen to Brian. Brian's telling him, hey, calm down a little bit. don't go crazy. This is what he wants. He said, "What you want this to be like this? You wanted him to do it?" He said, "No, but this is exactly how you gets in your head." And he's shoving him, pushing him, and says, "Next week, me and you." So we got another interesting thing with that. Now, Malachi Black, and he had his very well made segment. I gotta say this: if you guys didn't like how Aleister Black was in WWE and how he was looking like a preacher, here as Malachi, they're doing a very good job with him. Now, mind you, is he going anywhere with this gimmick? No, not at this moment. He's pretty much floating. But with the appearance of now a new disciple by his side, the question is going to be, who is the disciple? That's going to be the question, who that person was he sprayed in the face, and that person who supposedly got sprayed in the face threw up black goo. Now, mind you, that could be Wyndham Rotunda. That's what I'm sure many people are going to say. That's got to be Wyndham Rotunda. That got to be him, and maybe it is. It's hard to say. It would make sense, especially if they wanted to rub this into WWE's face, and the last segment that he had with Alexa Bliss and the black goo from her mouth, this would be a good bit to kind of rub it back in WWE's face and say, you know what, this is how you really do it right. Fuck you, WWE. WWE, fuck you. That is how you could do it. But it's a question if this is Wyndham Rotunda, or is it just somebody from the back we've never seen before that isn't from WWE, or it could be from NXT. I don't know. It could be, but we got a long time to wait until January, the beginning of the year, and maybe these people will actually be seen on Rampage if they don't have enough time for Dynamite. I'm just saying. Now, Sheeta versus Selena Deeps. I didn't like the ending. I'm sorry, guys. Look, I know I did a booking for Selena Deeps and Sheeta, and I kind of wish they had gone down that route, making it about Sheeta's 50th win. But if you're looking at the story for what it was, in that ring, and this being the rubber match for both of them, not all three of them, because I'm talking about the third match. Sheeta won, Deep won, now Sheeta again. I just, what was the point? I'm sorry, it didn't really feel like anything. Look, I'm not talking about their ring work, okay? This is what a lot of people do not understand. A lot of reviewers don't get. They see something pretty good here. But no, the problem that the women's division in AEW has is that they're not booking all the women with a proper story, particularly the female Japanese wrestlers properly. What did Sheeta actually gain from this? What did she gain facing a Selena Deeps? Now, mind you, not every match needs a story. You can actually let the match be the story. But honestly, in this situation, they needed a story. By my humble opinion, they truly needed a story between Selena Deeps and Hiroko Shida. It felt empty. And I'm not taking anything away from the match. They had a great match. It was a damn good one. Following the opening, it was a damn good match. Because when it came to Matt Sydal and Wardlow, it didn't really do much. It was a cool down match. That's what that was. That was to cool everybody down to get them hyped up again. And it took a bit because, let's be honest, after what happened in the opening, this took them a while to get warmed up to. Not because they were bad in the ring. It's because they already they just blew their load in the very beginning. I'm just saying. Now, let me say this. When it came to the fans, they were very interesting. The fans there in Texas were happy and they were hot. So that helped the beginning of the match, beginning of the match, and the last match of the show. Now I could talk a little bit more about what was going on and what's going to happen, but honestly, there wasn't much there. The opening really made it all important, and the closing was what they cared about the most. And this is the Dynamite Diamond Ring match between Dante Martin and MJF. MJF was my boy. I love my boy. He said clearly, "Hey, Texas, your daughter swallows." Oh, you see? This isn't the big C. This is just a cold. You don't sneeze when you got the big C. But he said pretty much your daughter swallows was very interesting. Seeing that he's trying to play on the incest bit is interesting. You know how MJF is. He always finds a weak spot and piss everybody off, which was wonderful. And that kind of went well with Dante Martin. Because since he's no longer with Team Taz, but he's not with Leo Rush because he didn't come out with him. Leo did not come out with Dante Martin. So they got to address that eventually. Either he is with Dante or he's not. But he was by himself. He came out and they got a new Dynamite ring. Excuse me. A new Dynamite ring is now been set up, and the old ring is now simply been retired because MJF was wearing it on his pinky. And when they showed the new ring, that means they're going to take the old ring, or MJF is now going to keep the old ring, and now he gets another ring. Well, technically speaking, I'm just saying. Was this a good match? At one point, it kind of made me a bit nervous because when Dante Martin decided to do a 450 onto MJF, he kneed him in the jaw. Literally, when he wanted to really nail him, he does a forward flip, and instead of splashing him, he brings his knees up straight into the jaw. You could see that he took a jaw shot, and he was messed up a bit from that hit, and I don't know why Dante did that. Look, I like Dante. He is a very good high-flying wrestler, and he did some really good spots. Really good spots. But the problem with spot wrestlers who are high flyers is that sometimes they go overboard with their spots and can legitimately hurt their opponent. Look, guys, if you don't know, which you do know, both wrestlers to a certain point are supposed to protect one another. They're not supposed to go overboard and hurt like somebody like, well, guess what happened with Hannibal with a ref. If you had heard that there was some situation, I think it also was in Texas. I could be wrong. I don't remember where, but he attacks a ref. When he's supposed to make the ref bleed, the ref wasn't moving fast enough, so he got an actual spike and used it and jammed it into his damn head and made his skull bleed like crazy and even cut a blood vessel. So you can see that wrestlers can go overboard with their bit next to being drugged out. Looks like he was. But the point here is Dante did a very strong 450. It looked like a 450. It didn't look like a shooting star press. It looked like a 450. He brought his knees up, and instead of just splashing him, he jammed him in the chest and in the jaw with his knees. I'm hoping he didn't hurt in MJF because we need him on the show. In the end, Ricky Starks saves in MJF. Excuse me. He saves his butt. And in the end, MJF now is a 3-time Dynamite Diamond Ring champion. As I said before, the Dynamite Diamond Ring is a championship. Remember, I said that. If no one remembers, except for the few who've seen this channel for years, you could tell I said more than once that Diamond Ring was a championship. And what are they saying? The Dynamite Diamond Ring champion, again, is MJF, holding the ring in the camera so everyone could see it. So the key of this entire situation is how long are they going to let MJF continue carrying this ring? Are they going to retire it eventually? Because honestly, the first year, yes, he needed it. The second year, yes, he still needed it because of what was going on with the pandemic. He needed to continue doing what he needed to do. But at this time, at this point, honestly, I don't think he needs the ring anymore. He could easily retire they could easily retire the ring, saying that he cheated too much, and Tony Khan says, you know what, the diamond ring is done, return it. And then he has to face someone to get it away from him. And they retire it. Done. That's what I think should be done. But that's just me. Now, was this Winter is Coming special good? It was good. Particularly when it came to the main event, which was the opening of the show. Don't think I didn't forget. I didn't forget this. Don't worry, I didn't forget Hangman Page and Bryan Danielson because I have done that before. That pissed me off and I have to come back and re-record this. No, I haven't forgotten it. Guys, when I saw that they opened the show, I said, they're not crazy enough to open the show with this. What about the Dynamite Diamond Ring? Wouldn't it have been better to open with that? No. They chose to flip the script and have the Dynamite Diamond Ring close the show for MJF because of what happened with CM Punk, and now they're going to have a match next week or this Friday. But they wanted it to be something that was hot in the beginning. And I saw this and I thought, no, man, oh, come on. That made me feel like a cruiserweight match. Now, mind you, I'm not saying it was. It made me feel like that's what they would do with a cruiserweight title match. Throw it on the beginning of the show and make it not mean something. But it depended on how the crowd responded to it. And the crowd was incredibly invested in this match. And this match, by the time of 30 minutes, something was telling me they're going to draw. I felt it by 30 to 35 minutes. I think it's 35 minutes, not 30 minutes. Because of the way the match was going, I'm going like, no. This is not going to end with Hangman Page winning. There's no way. Even though I know, if you think that Hangman Page losing the title would hurt him, no, it wouldn't. Actually would not hurt him 100%. It would diminish him a little bit because he shouldn't have lost in his first title defense. He shouldn't. He should win his first title defense. But then you don't want Bryan Danielson to get hurt here either, because he has not lost and he's a damn good heel. The crowd throughout this match was truly invested in hating Bryan Danielson and loving a Hangman Page. They were going crazy for them. So I do agree that opening the show with it was the wisest thing, even though for me, it's not something I would truly have booked like that. Unless I knew the fans were so hot for it, then it would make sense. So they read the fans properly, and they did the right thing. They opened with the show with the hottest act they have. Now, mind you, I don't know if that's going to be great for ratings, but it's what made the fans at the arena so damn happy. And that's the ones I think they really wanted to please more than anybody else. Now, how was the match itself? It was one of those very old school type of matches. Guys, this match was a old school style of match. It wasn't high flying or high impact. It was total psychology. If you want to see a match of the year match, this is it. Because the opening to the mid part of this match, there was no incredibly high-flying, high-impact. It was mostly wrestling and a huge amount of psychology, where you see Bryan Danielson not always going straight after Hangman Page. He waits and he poses and he postures and he gives an attitude, and everyone hated him even more, which was a damn good strategy. Sometimes, to truly get the fans to hate someone and love someone else even more, you must have psychology. And Bryan Danielson, no matter what you say of him when he was Daniel Bryan, he understood how to read the fans. Now, mind you, a lot of times the way his matches went in WWE was not the way he wanted it, because he had to follow a certain criteria that Vince wanted. Many people say, well, he can book it the way he wants. Not every person can. When they say you want someone to win, and if it's not him, they got to do it the way they want it, not always the way he wants it. And this match, him and Hangman Page truly booked this properly with, I'm sure, with the blessing of Tony Khan. This was a damn good match. Not because it was high flying. No. Not because it was high impact. No. It was the damn psychology that got me personally. And I know there was a lot of high impact by the end. There was a lot of high flying to a certain extent at the end. And there was a lot of blood, because you did get Hangman Page finally busted open. And not only to get it busted open, he tries to do an attack from the top turnbuckle, and it fails, and he crashes through a table. In the end, when you think Bryan Danielson finally got him, and then when Hangman Page turned the tables, about to get him as well, right when they're about to get back up again, draw. I knew it was going to be a draw, and I was correct it was going to be a draw. Now, question, did everyone else feel good about this? No. There's going to be several people that's going to be angry about this drawing out. But in actuality, instead of doing a DQ or outside interference, drawing the match is the best option. Because you don't have to do some screwy ending where you have to have someone run outside and mess with the people like WWE always does. It is very, very, very status quo. Here, when was the last time, other than Kenny Omega, have you seen a match draw out? A 1 hour match. They don't do them anymore on, remember, we're talking about national and international television. Impact Wrestling has done it a couple of times. I'm sure New Japan Pro Wrestling has done it multiple times. MLW probably has done it as well. Not that much with NWA. But we are talking about a new up-and-coming company that is on a prominent, how can I say this without sounding like a shill? Look, when it comes down to it, they're on a good network. They're going to another part of the network, another channel of the network, which is Turner Broadcasting Station. Let's be honest, I believe that's the name of it. It's been so long since I thought about TBS. But the point is, they're on a prominent company that's showing their stuff. And they're doing very well. They don't need to do what WWE does. They can do something like this, like they used to do it back in the 80s and 90s. Well, early to late 80s, where they would draw out, like Sting used to do with Ric Flair. Like Macho Man Randy Savage liked to do. Even Hulk Hogan did a 60-minute match. 60-minute. Very rare he ever did them. But even he did a 60-minute match. But the really great wrestlers, they make it last and make it mean something. So this is what we get. Now, mind you, everyone's going to like it. They're going to think, oh, this is old garbage. This is old school stuff. Who wants to hear? Well, guess what? The fans, they lost their shit. And they're not all old people. And I got to say this about the Lex Man. And I understand what he said, saying that Raw only caters to 15 and plus. I'm 50. I don't look it, luckily. But I'm 50, but I ain't stupid enough to follow WWE. Hell no. I know what a real wrestling is. And it's not just AEW. It's NWA. It's Impact Wrestling. And it's AEW. It's the real wrestling. What WWE is doing is a joke. But this is just me. Have a good day. Have a good night. And I'm hoping to get NWA either done tomorrow. Oh, I got to take some cough medicine. I feel like I want to sneeze again. I'll try and get it done tomorrow. Peace.